it's Stasi, and let's kind of just ignore the fact I'm in cosplay, especially since the white makeup and the bright sunlight don't seem to be a good mix, and it does weird things to my face. But today is Monday, must be what, the 10th? Which means it is the start of my birthday week, because the 17th of May, which is on Sunday, I believe, is my birthday. So I thought I would try to vlog this week. I have actually tried to vlog a number of times in the past like 6 months, and it's never really worked out. So hopefully this footage actually sees the light of day this time. Also, not that it's gonna be like a particularly interesting week, like I'm still stuck in my house and everything, but it is my birthday on the weekend. Basically, you know, I'm probably just going to be reading, playing video games, apparently cosplaying, and maybe doing some art if I get the motivation, which I haven't had in the past week. Then my actual birthday, again, I can't have people over or go anywhere, so it's just gonna be spent at home with my boyfriend, but we'll see what we end up doing. Otherwise, in terms of reading, I actually started 2 books on the weekend and finished 2 books on the weekend just past. So I finished The Last Wish, is that what it's called? Yeah. Honestly, don't even try and get me to remember that name. It's the first collection of short stories for The Witcher. Now, I have actually played a number of The Witcher games, and I have also watched the Netflix show previously and really enjoyed that. So I think that, and I'd never visited any of the books before, but with that background of already being attached to the stories, I think that maybe gave me a kind of bias going in, because it was my first 5-star read of the year. And the other thing I read was an arc that I was offered through NetGalley, and that was Mayhem by Estelle Moore, is it? Which, in its synopsis, states that it's, you know, like inspired by The Lost Boys, which, if I've never mentioned it before, The Lost Boys is actually my favourite movie and has been since I was about 14, which, funnily enough, is also the age I was when I first dressed as this character, because this character is basically the reason I have my existing friendship group, because a boy in my class at the time wanted to do a Sweeney Todd parody, but that's a whole nother story. So Lost Boys is actually my favourite movie, so I was very intrigued at this book when I got an email about it, and I really need to I want to write a proper review for this, so I'm really going to have to try and narrow down my thoughts, because overall, like, it had a very nostalgic vibe, but that makes me question who this is for, because it's a YA book, and how many current teenagers will feel nostalgic about the 80s. I mean, I didn't live through the 80s, but I grew up on 80s movies. And also, things were pulled directly from The Lost Boys to the extent that it made me uncomfortable. Like, there was a quote on the last page of the book, and the last page of the book is what kind of lost me, because there was a quote directly from The Lost Boys, which had nothing to do with this book, and on top of that, it was given to a character who was also pulled directly from The Lost Boys, mind you, but not the one who says it in the movie, and so that kind of just added insult to injury. Yeah, there were a few things like that, because do not think that just because there's things directly pulled from the movie and that it's inspired by it, that there are vampires in this book, because there's not. But the existence of characters in this book from The Lost Boys who keep talking about vampires might fool you into the fact that you might see someone at one point, but you don't. And so that kind of bothered me. But otherwise, kind of the general story and the vibes of the book were decent. So I don't fully know how I'm feeling right now, because especially that last page just really got on my nerves as a lover of The Lost Boys. But that was the weekend. The other 2 books I started were Stephen King's, what is it called? It's a collection of stories. I think it's called Going to the Movies or something like that. So it's a collection of his stories that was published in, I think, the early 2000s, of stories that at that point had been made into movies. And I've read the first one, which is 14, it's called 14 something, because it's about an author who writes books about him basically staying in haunted places, and so his research led him to this hotel room, and stuff happens, and I really enjoyed that. So I'm really enjoying diving into some of the other stories, because so far the only Stephen King that I've actually fully read is It and Salem's Lot. So I'm enjoying that. I do enjoy Stephen King's writing, although I've had some problems with things, with It specifically, and some things that were in that. Other thing I started reading is actually a reread, and it's, what's it called? Burn For Me, I think is what it's called, by Alona Andrews. It's the first book in an urban fantasy series that I remember being fairly heavy on the romance subplot, which I guess you would guess from the awful covers this book has, which basically makes me never want to own them physically, even though I remember really enjoying them when I originally read them a few years ago. And that's basically why I picked this up, because, you know, with the way things are at the moment, the way of the world, the way of life, I kind of just wanted something fun and familiar. So that's why I've started rereading that, because I know I really like it. Yes, I look dead, but that's kind of the point with this character. No, no, not lied at all. No, I never lied. Said she took a poison, she did. Never said that she died. Poor thing. This is the problem. Wearing this just makes me want to sing all those songs, even though I haven't actually seen the movie since like 2018. 2018? That's not right. Since 2008. I haven't actually seen the movie since 2008, when I was 15. Yikes. Anyway, I'm gonna try and vlog this week. Not that I'll be going out and doing much exciting, but that's what we're doing. And yeah, maybe I'll make it a thing that I'll try and do like a number of different cosplays this week. That could be interesting. I haven't gone to the effort of actually doing that for a while. Yeah. I need to stop rambling. This is one of the reasons that I found it so hard to try and get back into vlogging, because I just ramble about nonsense and then I watch it back and I'm like, I can't put that on the internet. So it's Tuesday. Excuse you, you are meant to be the face of this video. She just taps. I cannot film you when you're this close to the camera. I've pretty much just been cleaning today, and I have to admit that yesterday too, I pretty much just, what are you doing, cat? I pretty much just made TikTok videos and then fell into the void of just watching TikTok videos. And then my partner came home and we made dinner and watched The Vampire Diaries. So it was clearly a very productive day. What are you doing, cat? But I've done lots of cleaning so far today. So that's yeah. Ginger Steps, what are you doing? Yo, she let out a breath. She didn't know she was holding. Urban fantasy is a victim to it too. Adult urban fantasy. Also, despite what the cover would have you believe, the first half of this book has pretty much no romance in it. So it's Wednesday, and I got a last minute call to do a shift today, which is the first time I've worked in like 7 weeks. It was also really last minute, so I was not expecting, and that's why I have a makeup that's a little more extra than I would usually wear to teach. Everything hurts, and I'm really tired. I mean, I haven't been, like, suddenly I was around all these children, and I haven't been around more than like 2 people at a time, and I've barely been speaking, and now my throat hurts, and I've barely been standing up, so now everything hurts. I did, though, yesterday finish, what's it called? Burn For Me by Alona Andrews, which I'd forgotten how much I really, really enjoy those books. And actually, despite what the dodgy cover might have you believe, there's actually barely any romance in that first book. Like, there's like the tension, but for the most part it's like just tension, and even that doesn't really start until like after halfway through the book. But yeah, so that's my second 5-star for the year, which was a reread. Although the first time I read it, I remember I rated it 4 stars. Like, I think I rated the entire, like that entire first trilogy 4 stars because I felt like I couldn't give 5 stars to it because it felt like trashy. Like it didn't feel like high quality literature or something. Now I only read this like a couple of years ago, but I remember that was kind of my reasoning. And now I'm like, you know what? No, it's really enjoyable. It's not even that trashy. As I said, there's barely romance in the first one. There's just like her paying too much attention to maybe how attractive some people are, but otherwise. So, no. I was going to like film my weekly video and everything today too, so I was kind of derailed. I don't think I ever even said what Burn For Me is even about. It's an urban fantasy series where it's not one of those urban fantasy series that has like all the different types of creatures like vampires and all that stuff. It's not that. What it is it's like our society basically, but with magic, and different families have various amounts of magic, and so then you see the way that this has affected like literal power dynamics within society, and there are people who are very unhappy with the way society are going and want to kind of derail things. And then you've got our main character Nevada, who's been caught up in things and forced to try to bring in this dangerous pyromancer, so someone with fire magic, and she herself is basically a human lie detector where she can immediately tell via magic if someone's lying or not. And it's just really good. And it's got, you know, that underlying mystery, it's a little bit of romantic tension, and the characters are probably the reason I love this so much. Like, all of the characters are so interesting and different and engaging, like particularly the family dynamics. Nevada's like whole family, they're so varied and it's beautiful. And also Mad Rugen, the main guy in this, is like everything I've been complaining about. Like, he's kind of that, you know, dangerous alpha male type who is like literally a murderer, but I enjoy his character and I really enjoy them together and their banter and everything. So it's just one of those things. The characters in this are great and the banter's great, and I literally laughed out loud at least several times. And yeah, I'm definitely not filming my video today. I'm sleepy. What do you do when you're like testing lighting and angle and stuff? Because I tend to get all these random clips of me like making random movements and dancing and... It's Thursday and I am actually uploading a video currently. So I'm going good. This is like definitely over a month of actually consistently uploading weekly videos, which we never thought would happen, but look at us go. I also feel like people might not necessarily like the generic YouTube filter that I put on all the videos, but it's like, it's gone on so long now. Every single one of my videos has had it, and it's like, there's no going back now. There's just no going back. I never like how they look just generically, and like I could go get a better program or something with a nicer filter probably, but now it's like, I'll die on this hill. But yeah, there is a video currently uploading, which is a tag because Penny tagged me in something that this morning, and it wasn't what I was going to film, but I thought, well, I guess I'm doing that now. We've cleaned. We actually had a day of work for the first time in ages. We filmed something. We cosplayed one day. And now it's almost the weekend. And Australia has actually just loosened its restrictions, which means I may actually get to see friends this weekend for the first time in forever. At the very least, I think my best mate might come over for my birthday weekend, so that'll be nice. And yeah, I need to go back to fixing up my description before my video processes. Yeah, so I've tried filming some videos this morning. Obviously it's Friday, we've got a different look going on, but the lighting combined with my makeup is a bit today. You can't probably really tell in this lighting, but you can tell in the videos I just filmed. And like, I don't want to, like, if I don't use the footage, then I've wasted all that time filming it. But at the same time, I'm struggling so hard with like, I don't know if I can upload it feeling so unhappy with my appearance in them, essentially, because of different factors. I don't know how common a thing that is for people, but I'm really struggling with it. And it's probably part of the reason that I went so long not filming videos. I mean, it's definitely not the initial reason, but it was a contributing factor. It's been a really... Otherwise, this week's really just been a week of kind of like indulging in nostalgia otherwise, because I've started reading the second book of that Ilona Andrews series, which I think is called Hidden Legacy. And so I'm reading the second book currently, and we're still watching Vampire Diaries every night, so yeah, but...
Ralph was a hero who fought bravely and well, but his face showed the scars of battle, and frankly, no woman would look at him. In his despair, he robbed the ancient trader barons of Greatwood and bought a house and a pile of presents to give out. Women fell at his feet, and eventually he chose a gorgeous one to marry. But too late, he realized that the type of female who is impressed by gifts and houses is too shallow to make a good bride. So Ralph decapitated her and waved her lovely head about in triumph, and the phrase trophy wife was born. That's their story of how the term trophy wife was born. Okay, I don't know how I feel right now.
It's Saturday, which means tomorrow is my birthday, turning 27. My partner keeps calling me old. It's not very nice. Yesterday, I actually ended up streaming for a few hours, which is the first time I've done that in some time, actually. And I played some Fable Anniversary. Fable's actually one of my favorite games, but I hadn't played it in years, and the birthday weekend seemed like a good time for that nostalgia. So that was a good time. I'm also so close to Twitch affiliate. My average viewers are like 2.8 out of 3. It's like, I want to hit it. If I could hit that on my birthday weekend, that would be a great birthday present. We'll see, which means I do want to stream at some point later today, hopefully, and I'll probably continue playing Fable. This is actually my TBR shelf too, here. Most of these books have been on here many years, which is kind of embarrassing, other than a couple. This is something I really want to read soon, because the first book was my favorite thing I read last year. But I'm currently still reading the Ilona Andrews Hidden Legacy books, so we'll see. You see that move? You're just completely holding your breath. Okay.
Alright, I'm done. that you won't like, and then there's a strawberry and raspberry muffin which will be for you.
I'm not sure that's the type of game they're made for.
Look at that. What's this? That's
a lot of chips.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to whatever name we're using. Whatever one we're using of her names. Happy birthday to you.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
I am 4 years old.
Floaty kitty. Let's see. Look, it's a flambo. Aren't they the kids?